you're headed out to Indianapolis, the site of Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Rohan Nadkarni, he's a sports reporter for NBC News. You can read his work at NBCnews.com. He's a South Florida guy. I'm sure he wants to partake in some of the Dolphins chatter from the previous segment. But before we get there, I do want to talk about the NBA Finals. Rohan, what letter grade do you give the finals thus far? The first two games, what letter grade would you give the finals?
I think you got to go with a solid B plus, A minus right now. I mean, the first game was a classic. That is, you can't ask for a much better game than I think what you got in game one of the NBA Finals, ending on a buzzer beater, ending on a wild comeback. I think game two, obviously, you wish it were a little bit closer in the fourth quarter. That's kind of the way the Thunder have been playing for a lot of the NBA playoffs so far, as they get a 15-point lead and just don't let anyone get any closer than that. But in terms of what you're seeing on the court, listen, I get it. There's this small market stuff, and we all know that the ratings are not probably what the NBA wants it to be. But if this is what people say they want when they watch basketball, which is teams with unique styles, they don't play the same way. This is not two teams trading 63-pointers on every offensive possession. I think you're seeing two teams with unique styles, with unique players. So to me, it's in that B plus, A minus range, and hopefully we get another great one tonight.
And Ro, I honestly, before we even started it, I said it's going to be a sweep or a gentleman sweep. And obviously the Pacers got game one, but I think game two was kind of what I planned on seeing. I just think OKC is flat out better than the Pacers. Do you expect this to go 6 or 7? Because I don't.
I can't say I expect it to, Channing. I mean, I picked the Thunder in 5 for NBC. I mean, they have been just a juggernaut all year. And I think part of it is because people don't pay attention to the regular season like they used to. I think part of it, it's a young team. They're doing it differently than I think the way people expect. But this is on par with any of the great teams we've seen the last 15 years. And I'm talking, the 2015 Warriors, pick a great team. I think this Thunder squad is right up there. They're super talented. They're super deep. The Pacers are going from playing the Knicks, who had multiple guys basically on the court at any given time you could attack defensively, to a Thunder team where they're bringing their best defender, in my opinion, Alex Caruso, off the bench. They're not even starting one of the best defenders in the NBA. Like, they're a great team. I asked TJ McConnell on the Pacers the other day. I was like, you guys know, I basically was like, it's not really sustainable the way you guys are winning these comebacks, right? And he's like, it's definitely not the plan to go down by 15 every time. So I think the Pacers got to find a way to stay closer than they have been in some of these comebacks, because that's not a real strategy for them. This is a different Thunder team.
You're in Indiana right now. What's the vibe there right now? Because I would imagine Pacers fans are thrilled, and they have to be telling themselves what I think anybody would be, which is what I think of the Heat in 2023. They steal game 2. Game Vincent, Max Strus have these unbelievable shooting performances, and the Heat win game 2 in Denver. I know you were covering the series back then, and I think you joined me for the pregame show when the series shifts back to game 3. And I know what Heat fans are telling themselves, which is, hey, nobody thought we could do this against Boston. Hey, nobody thought we could do this against Milwaukee. And here they are. It's possible. And none of us seem to think like it's very possible outside of the people of Indiana.
For sure. And I will say the pride that you see around Indianapolis right now it's awesome. It's really cool. This is a state where basketball is especially meaningful. And you can kind of feel that in the community. You see it everywhere you go, the slogan that they have. In 49 states, it's basketball, but this is Indiana. Like, you see it on the signs outside the bars. They say it in the arena before the games. Like, it's definitely very special. To your point, Salon, I will say, if any team's given their fans hope that they can pull off a miracle, it's the Pacers. We were looking through their win probability at NBC. They had something like a 1 in 75 million chance of winning those 4 games that they've come back from in each round. Like, what they've done in these comebacks is really, really, you literally have a better chance of getting struck by lightning walking outside in Florida than you have of watching those comebacks that they've had. So it's a really special team. What I would say, and this is a basketball knowledgeable crowd here in Indiana, look, you don't have to win the same way every night. You know what I mean? They won a game. They stole it. They literally stole it. They know it. They don't have to win that same way to win another game in this series. So I'm with you. I think they know it's a tall task, but how could they not have hope seeing what this team has done the playoffs so far?
But Ro, be honest. Like SGA is gonna go drop 35 plus, and then Halliburton will have 14, and Obi Toppin might have 9, and like they just can't. Does Halliburton have to go crazy? Somebody has to go crazy to keep up with SGA.
You know, it's funny. I was just talking to a Pacers fan today who's like, "Why can't SGA have just one off game?" And it's like you think about it, like you'll see Jokic have an off game. We've seen LeBron James have an off game in the finals. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been a machine in the playoffs. It's like it's 30 points every single night now. You can pencil it in. I do agree that Halliburton needs to be a lot more aggressive. I think he would agree he needs to be a lot more aggressive. He's a unique player. I mean, he didn't average 20 points a game in the regular season. That's not been what he does best. What he does best is get into the paint and create for his teammates. To me, Channing, the number you have to keep an eye on with Halliburton this series is not just points, it's the assist to turnover ratio. He had 10 turnovers the entire Knicks series. He already has 8 in this one. And the assists are down. He was I believe, over 10 assists a game or close to it in the regular season. The assists are way down. So to me, the issue is not even that he's not scoring. He's not creating for his teammates. That's what the Pacers need from him tonight. He's got to get 2 feet in the paint and either create for himself at the rim or for his teammates.
You see, NBC's got money, Crowder. Rohan's in a bomb boy. That's what it looks like up there in Indiana.
I know that picture.
This is a courtyard, okay? It's a courtyard. Let's just.
Do they have a waffle machine? That's the real question. Do they have a waffle machine downstairs?
I don't think they got the waffle machine here. I haven't checked. I'm not big on the hotel breakfast. I am using the NBC money out and about Indiana, though. I'll just say that.
You don't go free breakfast at the hotel? Like, even if you don't like it, it's free. You gotta take advantage.
You know, I don't think you're wrong. I something about my wiring. It's like it's too early for me to be eating waffles and stuff. Every hotel breakfast has got the worst hours of it. It's like 6 to 9, and I'm like, no, I'm not playing your game, courtyard.
Playing your game.
Rohan Nadkarni again, reporter for NBC News, and he is a South Florida guy. Before I know you want to get your Dolphin stuff off. That's the agreement. Rohan agrees to come on to pretend like he likes talking with me, but really he wants to talk Dolphins.
Listen to this take that the old boy has over here.
Hold on. We got the Shamstrani report that the Miami Heat are having conversations with the Suns about a Durant trade. No surprise, but now it's like quote unquote official that is happening. Does Durant, Bam, and Hero, assuming that the Miami Heat would be able to land Kevin Durant? I know it's not probable. Does that do anything for you? Because I could make the argument. It's what I was telling Crowder. I mean, Indiana's not a great team. They're a good team, and they probably benefited from the fact that the East is just wide open. So I think that's the argument to go get Kevin Durant. Like, maybe it's not the best trio or roster, whatever, but man, like, look at Indiana. The East is open.
I completely agree with you, Solana. And look, there are a lot of factors in play here. One is obviously what you would give up in a Kevin Durant trade. 2 is kind of what kind of extension is Kevin Durant hoping to sign? How many more years does he want to play? Obviously, as we know, the Heat are very particular when it comes to their extensions with aging stars who miss time in the regular season. Having said all that, to your point, listen, the Boston Celtics, I think, are going to look way different next year. And that team was a boogeyman. They was looking like they could pull off a 3-4 year run here with the talent they have between Tatum and Brown. Now you saw already this season they ran into some issues with, especially in their front court. Now you have Tatum out. But to your point, like, Indiana is playing great. Halliburton's obviously, I think, been an outstanding player. Whether you think he's top 10, top 15, doesn't matter. We've seen what Bam Adebayo can do in a playoff series. He's a playoff riser. He's a big game player, even if it's frustrating to people that he's not always the best scorer. Kevin Durant's numbers post-Achilles have been right there in terms of what he was doing before. He's still a great scorer, still a very efficient player. If you're looking at a team where you still had Wiggins as well, and you have Wiggins, Hero, Durant, and Bam, to me, you roll the ball out with that in the Eastern Conference, Eric Spoelstra as your coach. I think that would be a potentially really, really, really good team. And you just got to get the matchups to break the right way in the playoffs, like the Eastern Conference. And I don't want to talk about this in a way that's going to disrespect what the Pacers have done, because this has been a fun run and the fans here should celebrate that. But to your point, it is wide open. And I think the Heat should be aggressive in pursuing him.
And Ro, please handle this debate we've had all day today. I threw out there, if KD wants to come and the Suns want Tyler Hero, I'm down with it. Let him have Tyler. We'll have KD, Bam, and we'll figure out the rest of the roster. Solana said, we can have what is it, Solana? We can have Tyler for 12 years and only KD for 3 years. I take KD for 3 years over Tyler for 10.
It's not that Tyler's better than Kevin Durant. I just don't think it makes sense to move on from somebody who's 25 years old and was an all-star for somebody you're going to have to pay $120 million and is 38 years old coming off an Achilles tear. I mean,
listen, this is not just because of that world-famous interception heard around the world that Channing had on Tom Brady, but I'm going to have to side with my guy Channing Crowder here, because the Heat's issue with Tyler Hero is, what do you do when he wants a max extension? Are you going to pay Tyler Hero $50 million a year for the next 5 or 6 years, maybe $60 million a year at some point if he wants that max extension? Or do you go get Kevin Durant and maybe reset this team in a year or two, and you still have Bam? You know, Bam Adebayo, this next year is the last year, I believe, he's going to be on a relatively, frankly, affordable contract. He also has a max extension that he signed already. He's going to become a lot more expensive. I do think there's a world in which they have Hero, KD, and Bam for 1 year, but the situation looming over the Heat right now is, what do you do with Tyler Hero's next contract, with that next extension? Because I think paying him a true max extension could potentially be really crippling for the Miami Heat. And again, I don't want to disrespect Tyler, who put in the work this last summer amid a lot of different things to earn that all-star status, and he was voted in by the coaches. That's a real honor. But to me, maxing Tyler Hero would be a really tricky situation for the Miami Heat, to put it charitably.
All right, this is a part of the show where Rohan Nadkarni talks Dolphins with Channing Crowder. Again, this is the agreement. And look, here's what we've been talking about: culture change, because Tua's adamant about it. Rohan, Mike McDaniel doubled down. Bradley Chubb said, "Well, we were talking about it last couple of years, but we were faking it. This year, it's serious." That's the gist of our Dolphins talk today.
Mm-hmm. Here's where I am with the Dolphins currently. Look, there's no secret. It was an underwhelming offseason. You look at the roster, and they just still got so many holes on the team. Like, what is the secondary right now? Is it just like, hey, we're going to roll out Cam Smith and Storm Duck and see what happens? That kind of feels like the plan. So I don't know what's going on. Listen, I remember when we signed Ndamukong Suh and the run defense still sucked. Okay. So I'm glad that they're not throwing out these big money contracts either. Here's where I'm at with the Dolphins, though, is, you know what? Maybe the culture has changed, but enough talk. Okay. Prove it to me on Sundays. You want to prove to me the culture has changed? Please don't get smacked by the Buffalo Bills on Thursday Night Football, okay? You want to prove to me the culture has changed? Go win a road game against an AFC rival, all right? I want to believe the culture has changed. I want to believe Tua. I want to believe Mike McDaniel. I really like Mike McDaniel. I'd love if he was the coach here for a really long time, but it's no secret. He's got to do it this season. He's got to prove it. So I get it. They're asked the questions. I think they're answering them the right way. But I want someone. If I'm Tua, you know what I'm saying next time I'm out there? I'm saying, listen, I can Omar Kelly, Chris Perkins, whoever asked me the question, I'm going on there and I'm saying, you can ask me the question about the culture change, but you know what? Instead of me telling you, let me show you on the first Sunday. Let me show you that first game against the Bills that the culture here is different. For once, I just want to see this team prove it on the field.
And Rohan, it's like we were talking about earlier with the culture change. Does it have to be physicality? Like you say, culture change. Okay, guys are coming to meetings late, but you can still get your ass kicked in the trenches. Does it have to come with more physicality? Because you bring up those top teams, the teams of the Commanders and the Lions and the Bills. You bring up all those top teams, the Ravens. they're all butt-kicking physical teams. Is that where the culture has to change?
100%. And I mean, this was reported this week. I think it was Warren Sharp, like how little the Dolphins have invested in their offensive line the last 6 years. It's funny. Every team that wins the Super Bowl, Chan, you know this. And next year, every team's like, well, we got to play like them. So everyone wants to be the Eagles now, right? Everyone wants to have, the dogs on either side of the line in the trenches. But look, we know I heard you guys having the debate. Is Tua top 10? Is he top 12? Is his top 15? No one cared about where Jalen Hurts ranked as a passer when the Eagles were just stomping the Chiefs in the Super Bowl because they could do whatever they want on either side of the ball in the trenches. So to me, that's where it's got to start. They need a physical team. I mean, when was the last time you were confident the Dolphins are picking up a 3rd and 1? Like when Lusaka Polite, when it was Lou Polite, that was the last time. That was the last time. And I remember when it stopped too. They played the Ravens in the playoffs, and they shut that S down immediately. Okay,
right. But Rohan, we fixed this though. We fixed this because when the Panthers wrap up their season, Jonah Gadjevich is actually going to sign with the Miami Dolphins, and he's just going to throw haymakers on 3rd and 1 and open up the line for whoever it is. Julian Hill running up the middle.
The fact that it's like 3rd and 2 and McDaniel's like, all right, shotgun. It's like, I never want to see it. And I don't blame him.
They'll never know this is coming. Jet sweep with Tyreek Hill. They'll never expect it.
So I just want to see, for once in my life, or I guess once this decade, because like I mentioned, Lou Polite, salute to him. Salute to the 2008 Dolphins, still maybe one of my favorite years of being a South Florida sports fan. But I need to just remember the feeling of, you know what, we're going to pick up this 3rd and 1, and it's not going to be a life and death struggle to pick up 1 yard. And listen, I do like what they've done on the interior of the offensive line. I like the James Daniels pickup. I think it's Savanea. I still haven't learned his name, but it's just, the thing is, man, they got to prove it. And this is a prove it year for everyone on that team.
Rohan Nadkarni, I couldn't have said it any better myself. Thank you very much for taking the time once again. Hopefully we can reconnect during the offseason after we figure out what is going to happen with the NBA and the Miami Heat. Again, follow his work. He's in Indiana covering the NBA Finals, and I highly recommend following him on social media during the Finals. He will make you a smarter basketball fan. Rohan, thank you very much.
Appreciate you guys.